What's going on, my fellas? Today, oh, hold on, let me make sure the gain is all the way up. Okay, what's going on, my fellas? We're gonna be doing something that we haven't been able to do. Sorry for the hair. The hair's a mess. Look at how crazy it is. God, I look like a monster. All right, putting these shits back on. We're gonna be doing something a little new. We're gonna be making focused content for specific things. Normally for the things I do. Today we're starting the train of Magic the Gathering. I'm a little late. There's a lot of content creators out there that do the same thing. Um, Today I'm gonna talk. Obviously, it's gonna be about Commander. Today I'm gonna talk about the first Commander deck I ever fully built and fully finished. Actually, I was dedicated to the craft of it. I saw one thing led to another, and this is the deck that I ended up coming up with. Yeah, and actually how it started, before I tell you the commander, I found that I originally bought a Magic the Gathering 60 card deck from Amazon. Yeah, Amazon, where I didn't know it was shit. I didn't know what the colors names were. I was just starting out. I didn't know the colors. I didn't know jack shit about the game. I know nothing. Absolutely nothing. I I was like, "Oh yeah, I tried playing this once back in 2014 where I was playing against a blue player and he was teaching me the game when I was running a Boros deck at the time. It was like a starter deck. I don't remember which one it was called or what the main card of the deck was. But he proceeded to completely dog walk me, being a fresh little baby, little 14-year-old Zomborum. And then it made me not want to play the game anymore, so I stuck to Yu-Gi-Oh for the rest of the time. And this was like Yu-Gi-Oh before it was like one turn knockouts. Um yeah, so then I was like, Magic the Gathering's kind of popping off again, let me get back into it. So I bought a deck. I didn't know what the colors, excuse me. I didn't know what the colors of them were called. And so I looked up green black because I knew green and black was a color. I didn't know what they were called put together. So I looked that up and I got a deck of spiders, green and black spiders, and the boss monster was, as I'm going to do the awesome transition, boom, Shelob, child of Ungoliant. Now, the Lord of the Rings fans are about to kill me. I might have said that absolutely terribly wrong, but that's what I've been calling it this entire time. Shelob, freaking spider, spider demon, Death Touch Ward 2. Other spiders you control have Death Touch Ward 2, so theme of the deck that I bought off Amazon. And when another creature dealt damage this turn by a spider you control dies, create a token copy that's a food artifact, right? Which at the time I didn't understand what that meant because I didn't know what food artifacts was. I didn't know what food tokens were. I barely knew what treasure tokens. To be honest, I started at Outlaws of Thunder Junction, so I'm a freshie. Like a couple years ago, I'm a freshie. Outlaws at Thunder Junction was I think my camera's a little too high. Sorry about that. And I liked the cowboy aesthetic, and then I looked up, videos, and then I found like people like the Professor, Commander at Home, the Command Zone. I found all those channels, and yeah, everyone's dogging on Thunder Junction, and I was like, damn, I thought it was silly. But that's when I started learning what like a lot of the mechanics were, the keywords and all that nonsense. So yeah, I started off with Golgari as I learned that's what's the name of it. And I made Shelob, and then I ended up making this entire deck. Every card that is on this profile I have, except for a few, because I can't just keep buying cards. I'm working full time at a warehouse, so got to pay bills over cardboard that I would like to use. So a couple of the cards I do not have, but you know, they're relatively cheap, like Devoted Druid and Obelisk Spider, but relatively cheap, and Spinner of Souls. But regardless, almost every card, literally like 97% of the deck I own. So IRL. So it's nothing too grand or nothing too big. And the reason why I continued to build it was because I thought it was cool and I wanted to know all the different spiders that were in the game besides from like what they gave me. And I wanted to figure it out. So obviously I did some research. I looked up like decks on how people were building them. And to be honest, you could really only build Shelob one way. You can't really, there's not many like variations of how to build Shelob. I guess you use different spiders, but a lot of, I learned real quick that spiders aren't that good. They're way too costly for half of their abilities. And the stronger ones, like, half of the time aren't worth to use. Like, Shelob is a 6 cost. If you don't get your mana rocks or good mana or like your engines going like soon, you're not getting this out until like turn 4 or 5. 3 is the earliest. If you get like a crazy pull, 3. But four is like you got a good pull but not the best, and then 5 is like, oh, you're stretching it, and then 6 is like, oh man, that 6 turns, man, and everyone else got their boards online. And but the thing is about Shelob is even though spiders are bad, Shelob like makes people afraid, right? Because you got an 8/8 death touch spider, that's your commander, and you know commander damage that racks up real fast. And especially with supporting cards like Avaland and Grand Prix, like where she literally is doubling the +1/+1 count, or she is literally doubling the power and toughness of your creatures with Death Touch every time they hit. So, and then like if you really want to guarantee those hits, you put on wait, what the? Wait, oh no, never mind, it's here. I was about to, I was like, you put on Brotherhood's Regalia from the, now the Assassin's Creed set was pretty ass, but it did have cards that benefit me, especially for this deck. So like Brotherhood's Regalia is a really good one. Literally cannot be blocked. So you could just get free hits in with Shelob. Then Hunter's Bow does her gimmick, so you can get a token for free with the damage. Masswood Nexus for the cards that aren't spiders, for the creatures that aren't spiders, they become everything. So then they end up getting the Death Touch and Ward too. Mithril Coat, Indestructible. Urza's Incubator, since it is a Kindred deck. So Urza's Incubator, you also have the Herald's Hunting Horn, so to get those out faster, the Patchwork Banner. And to be honest, just all of these are really good. Resurrection Orb is like a hit or miss. I could swap this out. I could like remove it for literally anything else. But I think it's fun. I mean, especially if like people are targeting Shelob and they want Shelob off the board, you use Resurrection Orb. They come back. You keep doing it. You know, vice versa. They have Lifelink. Stuff like that. So, Great Henge, obviously a really good card. It's a green, you know. Green. What's wrong with green, you know? And yeah, so obviously you have support cards like Academy Manufacturer. Since you are making food artifacts, Academy Manufacturer will go off, making that clue and treasure token for you so that you have more mana or more draw power to try to do a Rasta of the Endless Web. Very strong card, but like this card like denies people from wanting to cast their instances and sorceries. So it's like, yeah, blue deck, you can cast your instances and sorceries, right, to keep drawing cards, but the more you do it, you know, I'm just going to keep getting my 1/2 spiders, and then they're going to have Death Touch because Shelob's on the board, right? And then, you know, Jaheira, a Friend of the Forest, tokens, since you are making either spider tokens, clue tokens, food tokens, treasure tokens, they all can just tap for mana. And then you don't even have to sacrifice the treasure tokens. You could just tap them for green. But if you really need black, then you would, you know, obviously sacrifice. Roaming Throne, just a fuck goated card. It's crazy how Roaming Throne isn't like a game changer. Like it's crazy that it's not. Roaming Throne is just very strong. Actually, to be honest, I haven't checked the game changers list in a while. I haven't been able to play Magic all that recently. But besides that, pretty good. With sorry, I got dishes on the desk. My bad. I don't want to slam the table. I don't want to slam the table. Twitching Doll. With this card released, I pogged really fucking hard. I was like, finally, Spider's got a mana dork that also can get like +1/+1 counters and then explode and then have like 50 billion green spider creature tokens. Like, while being a mana dork. Like a lot of spiders are kind of silly. Like I think the best spider though, like besides Shelob, best spider might be Sweet Gum Recluse, due to the fact that it has Cascade. So you can Cascade for 5, which a lot of the spiders are like literally 5 or less. So you basically guarantee yourself like a thing on the board. I mean, a lot of the cards here, I mean, even if it isn't a spider, a lot of the other like permanents are like less than 5. So, which can be easily done on the board. There's also like other cards that can just be brought to the board. Watcher of in the Web is actually one of my personal favorites. It doesn't get used often. I don't ever draw it as much as I would like, but it's very silly where Watcher in the Web has this funny clause where Watcher in the Web can block an additional 7 creatures each combat. So Watcher in the Web technically is probably one of your big game pieces to, you know, get a bunch of other like food, get a bunch of creatures into food artifacts. And what's crazy is since they're food artifacts, they keep their abilities. Like their ETBs, you could use their ETB triggers, then you could use their passive triggers if you're able. And those food artifact tokens can like get real like obviously they're huge, they're food artifacts. And let's say you're in a tough spot, you could just sack them, get your HP back, and you know it's all fine and dandy. Twin Silk Spider is very basic. Just create a 1/2 green spider token. You know, just add to the spider army. Same thing with Ishkana. Same thing with not really with anything else. I guess Spore Web if you're making the 1/1 Saproling and then you have Masswood on the board and then that Saproling just becomes, you know, a Death Touch Ward 2 creature. And then obviously, you know, for all the sorceries, your Cultivate, Kodamas, Rampant Growth, Swarmyard Massacre, Overwhelming Stampede, Kindred Dominance, Bushwhack. You know, there's decent like amount of fight effects I put in here specifically for Shelob just so I can guarantee them. Like obviously because they have Death Touch, just force something to fight the other thing, and even if they die, you get the token for it. So you can target other players' commanders if you can use their commanders' abilities for yourself. But it's a token, so like they get to keep their stuff, obviously. Like prize fight, you get the treasure token. Same thing with all these. It's Repast is really good for the indestructibles if you don't want to lose things. Deadly Relic is always a good call. Beast Within, like what would you like? What are you ever gonna complain with Beast Within? Damn, this thing dropped in price. I thought Beast Within was like $11, or was I tripping? Like, holy shit. Curse of Clinging Webs is a very fun card to use. It's just, it depends on who you're using it on. Now, if you're going up against like a goad like player or something, you could like goad a different player and then they are going to be forced to attack every time, right? So a lot of the time you could use this to your advantage because like someone's creatures are getting killed, right? So you're going to start farming those tokens unless they get rid of the enchantment themselves. This is a newer card I kind of added in. It is food token related. I haven't used it much, but obviously food I control can tap for green. So that's like really good for mana ramp. I mean, I know it's great, you know, it's crazy. And then Unnatural Growth is actually one of my favorites. I don't see a lot of people use this in their Shelob decks, but it works regardless because obviously doubling the power and toughness of each creature you control is really good. I mean, it's the same thing as shit. I'm blanking on it. I think there was another card that did the same thing. I have. Do I have it in here? Probably not. No, no. It's something else. I know I have a card that does. There's another card that does something similar that isn't an enchantment, I think, and I have it in the deck somewhere, but I'm drawing a blank on it, so I'm not gonna worry about it too much. And obviously, Roaming Throne. We're gonna go back to Roaming Throne. That it's literally just the trigger doubler and doubling Shelob trigger, doubling. Oh, Finn the Fangbearer. Like, come on now, come on now. If you're doubling the triggered abilities, Finn the Fangbearer is doubling. What you they get 2 poison counters. Double that, that's 4. Especially if it matched with Nexus is on the field. Double that, it's 4. Then it's like, oh shit. Like literally 3 attacks, poison counters, they're dead. And you know what? I'm not a big fan of poison counters, but I'm okay with them being in the game though. Like, because there is counterplay to that shit. I'm not gonna lie. Obviously we have our once Planeswalker Loth Spider Queen. She's like the only one that makes sense. She's the only one that like is spider adjacent or spider relevant. I don't ever get to use her -8 all that often because a lot of the time when I'm playing, I I don't win often. This deck is not a win deck. This is like, oh, you got a big thing on the board that's really scary. Now you're going to get targeted for a bit and then you're not going to be able to do much for the rest of the game. That is the unfortunate truth. Oh, and then we have the affordable but Gaia's Cradle at home. When I saw this card get added, it was like it's kind of like a must-have. Like I might as well put this in the deck. And obviously, I do have to get the Spider-Man printings because obviously it's a spider deck. And you know what pisses me off though? Sorry, there's gonna be a little bit of a rant for this video. A little bit of a rant. The Spider-Man. That set should not have sucked as much as it did. It should not have. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. I love Spider-Man. Trust me, I fucking I wish I was Spider-Man. But the only good things that came out of it are the lands. The land alts, the art. Because like literally the only 3 Spider-Man cards I could use, right, is like Peter Ham, the dinosaur, and like one of the artifacts. And that's it. Now, I haven't checked Lorwyn. Maybe there's new stuff in Lorwyn I can use and upgrade this deck with. But right now, I haven't seen jack shit. I haven't seen anything. Absolutely nothing. So yeah, if you want, I'm gonna post my deck profile in the I'm gonna post the I'm gonna post the deck profile in the comments below. You can judge me all you want. Say that my deck building's ass. I'm the worst deck builder of all time. Which, I mean, to be fair, I've never played competitive Magic ever. Like, I started with Magic Arena, and then I saw Commander was like the party game mode, and I was like, you know what? I'll play with this, and I've had fun. And I'll do another one of these videos of just talking, just yapping. Zomborum yapping about Magic the Gathering Commander decks that he's built. I have a lot of decks that I've built, a lot of different ones. I made this deck at least 3 times. That's why it's V2. So I had better spiders, or I had spiders, it was called spiders. Then I had better spiders, which was the first rendition, and then better spiders V2. So I've revisited this deck at least 3 times. I might have to make it 4 or 5, depending on the new stuff that it's out. Oh, there's my camera. Welcome back. And I think that's gonna be it. I'm gonna post the my deck list down below. If you fuck with the deck, let me know. If you fucking hate it, also let me know. Because I'm still gonna play it regardless. That's all I gotta say. Skr skr.